Hello out there, it's CK7 here, live in the flesh for the very first time. And with me today is my companion, Mosa. Say hello, Mosa. Yeah, she's happy to be here too, just happy to hang around. So, I'm here today because those y'all on the Villains War Forum and on YouTube are probably familiar with the newest idea for a villains tournament, Heroes versus Villains, or what I wasn't originally going to call Disney and non-Disney heroes versus villains, but the title's too long, and it's basically just heroes and villains in general. So yeah, you get the idea. So I'm going to take this moment to explain to everyone out there what to expect in this newest tournament. So basically, as the name implies, it's basically all the Disney and non-Disney heroes facing off against the various Disney and non-Disney villains. As you saw in the trailer, basically the plot is the infamous Mock Swagger from Rock and Roll has used his supercomputer to basically, I guess you could say conjoin or combine basically summon the various non-Disney villains into the Disney realm, basically. So basically the Disney and non-Disney realms are two different realms here in this tournament. And Mosa, where are you going? So, yeah, that's basically what I have in mind. And, and now how this is going to work for fights is that I'll be having Disney heroes fighting non-Disney villains and non-Disney heroes fighting Disney villains. There won't be any Disney heroes fighting Disney villains, because that's what Ace McKillioface is already doing with his series. And I won't be having non-Disney heroes fight non-Disney villains. I know nobody is doing a non-Disney heroes vs. villains tournament. At least, not right now, but just for safety's sake. So, I mean, now, unless it's like a Disney, non-Disney team-up versus somewhere around those lines, for example, say you had Aladdin and Omar from Rock and Roll versus, let's see, what's a good example? Them versus Hades, just name a random example. I don't think that would work, but I mean, if it's like a Disney and a non-Disney hero fighting a Disney villain, for example, then it would have to depend on how well edited the fight is, I guess, and what it is, because, yeah, I guess not. It's kind of early to think about at the moment, but I'll think of something like that eventually. So you're probably wondering, what non-Disney movies to expect to see? Well, of course the general, you know, Anastasia, Quest for Camelot, The Swan Princess, The Thief and the Cobbler, Balto, all the Don Bluth movies, including Charles Central Park. I know that's a really cheesy film, but whatever. As well as Osmosis Jones, the four DreamWorks animated films. There'll be Watership Down, Feliday, Rock and Roll, Wizards, Fire and Ice, Star Chaser, and quite a few others, basically, any that I could come up with. And now there are a few non-Disney films I want to mention to you guys about, to see what y'all think. First of all, y'all are probably wondering, if y'all watched my trailer, you saw Lord Malice in the trailer, and I bet some of you are wondering. CK, Happily Ever After is a unofficial sequel to Snow White. Are you going to include both Snow Whites, or what? Well, like I said, basically this plot is that Mock has basically, I guess you could say, summoned the various non-Disney villains from another dimension. So basically, not only has the villains went through this, I guess, portal or this dimensional travel device or whatever, I haven't thought that far ahead, but also the heroes have kind of ventured through as well, including the non-Disney Snow White, and the same for Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night, the non-Disney Pinocchio. It's kind of a similar scenario with Kingdom Hearts, you know, how all the various worlds have come together or something. That's kind of what's happening for this tournament, I guess you could say. The Disney world and the non-Disney world have basically come together in a way. Another non-Disney film I want to mention to you guys is the hold on. The Prince of Egypt. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. The light's kind of distracted. But anyway, that's a film I want to mention you guys about. History Buff one time mentioned that if someone ever did a non-Disney, included non-Disney heroes, that he'd rather not have that person use the Prince of Egypt, which I can see why, because Moses was a real person. At least it was Christian. But anyway, so I could see why some people think that is a bit controversial to include Moses. I mean, Ramesses, that's one thing, but the actual Moses in this tournament, that'd be something. However, the thing is, part of me says I probably shouldn't, but the other part says, I don't know, I just don't like to leave out a film in a category. You see, I'm just that kind of person, I guess you could say. I don't want to... there's really 4 main DreamWorks animated films. You got The Prince of Egypt, you got The Road to El Dorado, you got Spirits Down the Cimarron, and Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas, which all 4 of those I attempt to use in this tournament. And after thinking this through, I think I have figured out a way to use Moses in this tournament without actually, doing anything rational or whatever. So hopefully my idea will work. I mean, if you guys have an idea to use Moses without whatever, then you feel free to help me out. Now, there are a few non-Disney animated films that I will not be including. And the only ones that are on my not list are the Care Bear movies. I know, like what JC said, that she loves the villains in the Care Bear movies, but I just don't think I'm just not including them, because the villains, that's one thing. The actual Care Bears themselves, yeah, that's kind of a whole new ballgame. So, yeah, basically, you can tell Mosa's all painting around. So basically, yeah, I just won't include Care Bears. That's the only non-Disney anime film that's on my not list. There are a few that are on my meh list. One of them being Heavy Metal 2000. As some of y'all know by now, I absolutely despise Tyler. But I guess that's not a good enough reason. But the real reason, for those of you who have not seen Heavy Metal 2000, it's a pretty violent film. So, I don't know, I'm trying to debate should I include that or not, because if I do include Tyler, I have a couple ideas for fights, and maybe even a certain Disney hero that he could rival with. And that's another thing. What Disney hero would you have to fight a heavy metal villain? And that's another thing you gotta think about for a second. When Sean Yu killed Tyler in Disney vs. Non-Disney villains, that's understandable, because Sean Yu was already a violent brute anyway. So yeah, Heavy Metal 2000 is kind of on my meh list at the moment. I'm not sure if I should include it or not, but I might, but I'll think about it. Let's see, other animated, anything else? Not that I could think of at the moment. By the way, I'm also still... a lot of you have asked me questions, when is the series going to come out? Well, I have not figured out a specific date. There's not really a specific date, because at the meantime, right now, for the next week or so, I'm going to be busy getting the programs that I'll need to make the series. Right now, I've just recently got Windows Movie Maker, and at least I hope it's Windows Movie Maker. I mean, that's what it says, Windows Movie Maker. It's got a film reel as its icon. And I also got this video converter that... the only movies I have on my laptop right now that are in HD and that are, 1440 by 1080 and that are widescreen are Little Nemo, Adventures in Slumberland, and at the meantime, I'm converting... my computer's right now in the middle of converting Osmosis Jones. That's about all I have at the moment. And right now, I mean, I'll post a list of what movies I'll need eventually on the board. But I think first I'll just post a list of movies I need at the moment to start with round 1, because I think I know what fights I'll do for round 1 to start with. So at least I have somewhat of a good idea. I mean, there's a couple other films I have on my video library that are somewhat full. Like, I have Sleeping Beauty, I have Snow White, I have Wizards, I have Watership Down. but they're not exactly in HD. I mean, Watership Down, from what I got saved in my video library, it is in full screen, but it's not really blurry, but it's a little blurry. I don't know, but I mean, if you watched my trailer, you saw me include Watership Down clips, and it wasn't really that blurry, so I don't think I need to worry about converting that one. So that one's already saved. Also, as for other tools that I need, besides the I got Windows Movie Maker, but I was wondering if you guys can tell me where I can find the cropping tool, you know, the close-up tool, the merge tool. I might use that because that could be helpful. What else? The color filtrations, unless that's what Windows Movie Maker has. So, yeah, I think that's majority of it. I mean, any other tools I can think of that could be helpful for this tournament, then, yeah. Also, as for the story for this series, I have somewhat of a good idea for a story. Like, I think I have a pretty good idea how to start rounds 1 through 3 or 4, and I think I somewhat have a couple ways I can end part 1. But as for, you know, working my way up to the epicness of the end of part 1, I'm still trying to work my way to that. But so far, you know, it's been funny. Last night, I mean, you know, yesterday when I posted the trailer on YouTube and on the forum in the morning, I was surprised how many replies I got. Apparently, pretty much everyone on the board is excited for this series. I'm sure excited to start it. But, like I said, I don't know when... I haven't even started round 1, not even close, because I'm right now at the middle of gathering all the things I'll need to start it. I'm sure you guys understand. I know you're all very patient people, and that, you know, apparently waiting for the rounds to come up is usually the best part. It is usually worth the effort. So, yeah, basically, in the meantime, of course, we still have the other villain tournaments, like Disney vs. non-Disney villains and non-Disney, and I believe Ace McKillerface will be releasing the matchup reveal anytime soon for the next round in Disney Heroes vs. Villains. I definitely can't wait for that. Also, some of you have asked me, am I doing a part 2 for this? Well, I'm not really going to talk much about this right now, but I'm thinking about using part 2. But as I stated before, I have not watched most of the TV shows that were used in Disney vs. non-Disney villains. And it'd be really hard, but that's why... You see, right now at the moment, I'm doing the whole watch every Disney and non-Disney film that was used in Disney vs. non-Disney villains part 1. In fact, after I'm done with this video, I might start watching All Looks Good to Heaven, which I do have on DVD, believe it or not. But also, another thing is, I wanted to bring up, is, does anyone know how to convert DVDs to laptops in order to make them AVI? Because I think I have this program called Wondershare Video Converter. I don't know if any of y'all is familiar with that, if that can convert DVDs or not. But it's the program I'm using to convert the Osmosis Jones movie to AVI. So, back to what I was saying about TV shows. I'm hopefully to include TV shows in part 2. And basically, just like with part 1, I'm thinking about doing the same thing for part 2, as watch all the TV shows and the anime films and the live-action films as well. That'll take a long time, as you can imagine. And because I'm also thinking about using live-action and CGI heroes and villains. Like, History Buff was funny. He basically posted out, if I do use live-action villains, he apparently wants me to use Doctor Who. But the thing is, I have not watched Doctor Who, at least not yet. So, guess what I'll probably be doing for some of my free time. And that's another thing. I don't know how often I'll be able to work on this series, because like everyone else, I'm busy in the real world. Because I have school... Like, here's my schedule for now. I only have 2 classes. I have one at the campus, which is... I only go on Monday afternoons, 1 day a week. And I have an online U.S. history class, which I spend my week working on with discussions and essays and quizzes and etc. When I'm not doing school, on Thursday afternoons, I work at the animal clinic from 2 to 5. And besides school work, I'll probably be helping my parents around the house. You see, I still live with my parents. Even though I'm 19 years old, I'll be 20 on February 16th, which is pretty soon now. But yeah, I still live with my parents. So, basically the only times I'll be able to work on this series will be like when I'm home alone and when I'm not busy with school or work or help around the house. And another thing, for those who don't know, I have a DeviantArt account, and I'm kind of behind at the moment on my Phineas and Ferb Primeval fan fiction series. I think I might work on some of the sketches for my latest episode today if I have the chance. And another thing I'll be doing is, like I said, watching Disney and non-Disney movies and TV shows in order to get some ideas for my series. So, if I'm not doing the working on the series, those are the things I'll be doing: school, work, help my parents around the house, doing my Phineas for Primeval series, or watching the movies or TV shows. You could say I got a pretty big schedule. But also, you guys are welcome to make a fight that I could use. I may use it, I may not use it. It depends. And also, I'm trying to come up with ideas for like hero rivalries and villain rivalries. I think one idea for a hero rivalry I have is a rivalry between Derek from the Swan Princess and Beast. I mean, it could work. I mean, I don't know. I'll think about it. If you guys have an idea for a hero rivalry, then you're welcome to. Yeah. So basically, I will list what programs I'll need, like the close-up and the merge and whatever. Like, you guys, if you'd like to help, basically just list the best programs that are free, that don't cost anything, because I'd rather not spend my money right now, because I'm kind of low on... Well, I'm not really low on my bank account or anything, but I'd rather not pay for anything. And something that's not a demo, that doesn't last... Like, I think in the meantime, one of the programs I got, I'm not sure which one, is like a 30-day thing that's for free, and yeah, I just want one that I can use that's not a certain amount of time that I can use it or anything. It's something that I actually have to use, if that makes any sense. Something that's free, something I don't have to register for, and yeah, something that's easy to use, I guess you could say. Not easy to use, it doesn't matter. I'm sure I could figure out eventually. So yeah, and also I will list what movies I need, because there are certain ones I will need. I mean, a few of them I do have, but they're not on the 1440 by 1080 HD thing. Not yet, anyway, until I convert them. And that's another thing. You see, last night I have this, I got the DivX Plus converter, thanks to Disney Daniel. And the thing is, I converted Osmosis Jones to the 1440 by 1080 bit last night. And it is that, but the only downside is it took from, I bet it took from 8 p.m. last night to sometime in the middle of the night. I basically left my laptop on all night last night in order for it to finish. It took so freaking long. So yeah, it's pretty slow at that, but eventually it did, and right now it's this Wondershare video converter is converting it to AVI, so I can use it in Windows Movie Maker. I haven't used Windows Movie Maker. I can tell it's a little more advanced than Windows Live Movie Maker, but hopefully I'll figure it out. Also, another thing. Yeah, I keep bringing stuff up. I ramble, but this is necessary. Some of you are probably wondering, am I going to use non-Disney animated films that have not been used in these villain tournaments? Like, am I going to have any surprises? Well, yes, there's one animated film that I am thinking about using. I actually have on DVD, but I bet none of y'all are familiar with. This one right here. Dinotopia, Quest for the Ruby Sunstone, the movie. Yeah, I'm not surprised if y'all never heard of it, because it never came out in theaters. It came on the Hallmark Channel originally. It's a somewhat cheesy film, but it was okay. I kind of liked it. But it's a film that I think I will use. There is a villain in there that could be helpful for the tournament. And also, let me do that here. Sorry, I got a runaway snake here. Anywho, as for other non-Disney films, I'm trying to think. There was some other things I wanted to bring up. Oh, yes. As for factions and alliances and groups, like, for example, I will have the Animal Cruelty Squad. You know, Cruella, Madame Medusa, and Edgar, but they won't be the only members of this squad. There will be a few others. Like, I'm thinking Aunt Fig from Tom and Jerry the movie will be a perfect addition. But here's the thing. If I do include Tom and Jerry in here, because they're popular cartoon characters, but if I do use Tom and Jerry, which I think I will, it won't just be footage from their movie. I won't be using footage from the cartoons unless I have to, but I'll be using footage from their various direct-to-DVD films, like Tom and Jerry the Magic Ring, Blast Off to Mars, that Sherlock Holmes one, the Nutcracker one, the Wizard of Oz one. You know, they've done so many of those. But I will likely be using footage from those. Or possibly, the only cartoons I probably could use for footage for them would be in the more modern ones, some of the newer ones with newer animation they've done lately on Cartoon Network. You know, Tom and Jerry Tales, I think is what it's called. I watched a few of them. Not exactly as good as the classic cartoons that we all grew up with as kids, but, yeah, still doable. Anything else? Well, I think, another category of non-Disney films I'm thinking about using, if I can find them, are a few of the European animated films, such as Help I'm a Fish, The Fearless Four, Dragon Hill, etc. And there's one other animated film I've been pondering about, and I posted this movie on the non-Disney folder. It's Highlander, The Search for Vengeance. I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with it. It's an anime movie, and yeah, like Heavy Milk 2000, it's a pretty violent film. But I actually did enjoy this film. It had a really good plot, it had a really good story, it had a few interesting characters. And I know some of y'all, like History Buff, loves anime, and since this is an anime movie, and I'm trying to think if I should include it or not. I mean, if y'all want to watch the movie, it's on the non-Disney side. It's about an hour and a half long. If y'all have that much time, you can go ahead and check it out, see what y'all think. Anything else? I think, oh yeah, another, group thing. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemice. I do plan to use them as well, but it won't just be the Disney mice, but a few of the non-Disney mice. You know, Mrs. Brisby, Fievel, maybe not just mice, but a few other characters. Just trying to think and make sure I'm not forgetting anything else to bring up. I think that's about it. Oh yeah, just want to bring this up. Ace McKillio Face, if you're watching this, the creator of Disney Heroes vs. Villains, I'm gonna try my... Yeah, I can tell Mosa's just checking the area around. I'm gonna try my best not to be, you know... I might use a few of your ideas, but I'm not gonna try... I think what I'm trying to say is I'm not gonna try to rip off from your series, okay? A few of my fight ideas may be a little similar, but with a few twists, but like I said, I'm going to try my best not to, you know, do any too similar fight ideas. It's just, you know, with whatever available footage I can have, it would be challenging. And speaking of footage, the thing with non-Disney films is that I may also have to use the sequels of some of them. You know, like the All Dogs Go to Heaven sequel. Well, of course, All Dogs Go to Heaven 2, because it has Red, and I do plan to use him. There was that All Dogs Christmas Carol that has Belladonna. I think I might use her. There's the American Tail sequels, and by American Tail sequels, I'm not just talking about Fievel Goes West, the one that Caterwaull's from. There is those other two American Tail sequels. The Monster in Manhattan, I think, is one, and there's another one, I can't remember what it's called, but it was like something with Native American mice or something like that. I might have to use footage from those films as well. And of course, oh yeah, there's also the Fern Gully 2. I haven't seen Fern Gully 2, but I know Krista's in there, and if I need footage of her, then I'll probably have to use that film. And of course, there's the Land for Time sequels. I mean, do I have to go any further on that? 12 sequels and a TV show. That's a lot. That's a lot of footage to deal with. I mean, Disney Channel says he has all the footage, so if I need Land for Time footage, I might as well ask him to lend me some to use. Yeah, I think that's about it, I believe. So yeah, I'm really excited to work on this, everyone, and I hope I'll be able to start round 1 soon, as soon as I get everything I need. It might be a while because, like I said, I'm busy in the real world, and it could take a while to get everything I need. So if you guys can send me, like, what, tell me what the best programs are for close-ups and merging and etc., that'd be great. And also, I'll probably make a list of what movies I'll need for round 1, and you guys can send me a link of where I can get them for free, and that they're in HD and for. I mean, if you can't find them in HD, I guess I could use this program to convert them. But it'd be helpful if they were already in HD and they were, 1440 by 1080. So yeah, this is CK Prime 7, and I will see you later.